Okay, am I live? Can you see?
Yeah.
Um, oh, am I still sharing there, guys? Or can you see my slides, or is my email letter showing up?
It says something has gone wrong on it from Microsoft PowerPoint.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure.
For safety.
Bear with me for a second.
For safety. That is little for little safety. Little safety. So we won't even do so we won't.
Yeah.
Okay,
We have it now, yeah.
perfect. I think someone is just has a bit of background noise. Doesn't sound like anything too bad. But just to maybe mute your mics if you can. Okay, is that sharing there, guys? Sorry. Even if it's presenter mode, we'd be okay. I think this is just a bit of a. It's not my computer, so I'm out of my comfort zone. So look, you're all very welcome. We normally wouldn't run HRM classes on a regular basis over our GBS Go Business School semester. There was very high demand for our Springboard mode of delivery recently, which is nearly finished up. So we decided to run the same program directly with the school, as I'm sure you're all aware. And it's great that there is such an interest. And as someone myself who my background is that I did a master's in HRM, from NYG in the university. It's great to see so many people are interested in working in this area or are working in this area that are looking to upscale. So just a quick bit of background into the school. If you are some of you, obviously you're not based in Galway, you may not be as familiar with the school itself. Um, we're a private college based in Salthill in Galway City, just right beside the beach. Great place to work, unless it's lashing rain, which it is at the moment. But we probably have about 150 students, business students, and then we have an English language school here as well, which is kind of where the school would have the genesis of the school really. So we have a whole group of international students that study here full time Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday. And then we have professional full time workers, people returning to education that do part time programs here. And then, we have our kind of like springboard or kind of online courses which run occasionally or a couple of times a year as well. So school is about 25 years old. And I've seen lots of changes throughout that time. I suppose one of the key things is our accreditations. So you guys, you're doing the course directly with Galway Business School, but the course itself is accredited by the QQI, which is the Quality and Qualifications of Ireland. So the QQI they validate our course. So we go through a rigorous validation process, um, which is a costly and time consuming process, but it basically means that we update our programs uh, every 5 years and revalidate them, which means new topics, new links, new content, new sources, all that kind of stuff. So, there is a rigorous quality process. The second thing is that the QQI means that your certificates for everyone who passes and does well, and I'm sure everyone here will be issued by QQI. So the QQI generally they issue the certificates directly to the school, and those will be posted out. Or if you're based in Galway or you're passing by, you can collect them probably sometime around next March or there and thereabouts. Uh, our results process will generally be you'll have your last lecture, you'll probably get your final results maybe a month later, and then QQI, your results get submitted to QQI, and then they issue your certs within about 6 weeks. So it's a bit of a slower process towards the end, but you'll get your results before then. Just an overview of some of our partners. So we would have ran certificate programs through a lot of these courses, or we would have done Erasmus programs through these colleges in years previous. And some excellent partners for the school. In terms of our offerings, I've mentioned some of them there, but we do have our HRM certificates. Just an overview of some of our other certificates that we have on offer here as well. At the moment, most of these certificates and undergraduate bachelor's programs are they require some element of blended, some face-to-face delivery, which is usually probably 1 day a week in Galway and the rest online. That may change in the future. We're currently applying for kind of a online service provision, which means we can do more online courses, which will expand our remit, I suppose, to the likes of yourselves that might be interested in the future in doing something in digital marketing sales or leadership or supply chain. We're currently running a springboard supply chain at level 8 at the moment. So the courses to the left, undergraduate courses, are offered on a part-time basis, depending on minimum numbers, and those are the ones where you'd have one evening a week online and one evening a week in the school. Where I am at the moment, I'm here in the evening most Thursdays because we have part-time students that work during the afternoon that take their courses on a Thursday evening, and they'll do the rest online. The team. So I mentioned we're a private college, so the leadership team, it's a family business, really, I suppose. Celestine Rowland and David Nyland are our CEO and managing director. They founded the school. They're still very much involved in the school, and they're supported by myself, Fergal, I'm hoping you all would have heard from at this stage. You have now, and Cosmina, who is you probably would have heard from as well regarding the Springboard offering. So we would be part of that leadership team, as well as Judith, Karen, and Christina. Just good to know some of the names, just in case you're contacted, I'm away or something like that. Some of these guys might be replying to your emails, or if you give a call to the school, Judith is our office manager, is probably the person you'll speak to, or one of my colleagues who might be here on the day. So just to be aware of the names and faces. Your lecturer is Sinead. It's not Sinead O'Darcy. I don't know where there's an errant O from there. I hope if she's here. Sorry, Sinead. Sinead Darcy. Sinead has a lot of experience in the area of HR, in industry especially, which I think can bring a lot to you guys. She's previously worked for Irish Distillers, and she's involved in managing their graduate program. And her current situation is that she set up her own business, Future Roots, which is involved in basically working with companies on their graduate programs, on their internship programs, and on their training and development and learning paths for interns and graduates. So definitely something that companies are crying out for, with talent shortages and retention issues. So very much an expert in that area. She's currently delivering this module online from next week, but she also delivers a module on talent development, talent attraction, development, and retention to our full-time students, and an academic and professional skills module as well. So very much a wealth of experience, and she had lecturing experience coming into to Go Business School as well. So she's a nice mix of experience that she can help you guys with. I think the academic and professional skills is definitely something as well that she can assist you guys with, because I think it's always maybe a slight concern for people joining a new course that maybe haven't spent a lot of time in education, that will be worried about things like submitting assignments and referencing and all that kind of stuff. She's someone who's actively taught in those areas before as standalone modules. So definitely someone who can help on that front. Office hours, I'm only telling you guys this because just in case I have an issue. Our office hours, for ringing the school off the office number there, that's the main number you'll be contacting the school from or to. It closes at 5 o'clock. If you have an issue though, generally I'm online, for the start of these kind of classes, so pop me an email. I'm generally responsive. I've seen all kinds of Zoom crashes, and even at the beginning of this call, PowerPoint issues and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm generally available at the start of a lecture just in case there's any issues. But if you're joining a class, there's a Zoom link not working, I generally tell the lecturers to, send something. They have a list of the student emails. They'll send something via email or they'll send something on Moodle. So just to be aware of that, you know, if it's happened to one of you guys, it could be happening to a few more. So not to panic. The lecture might be delayed 10, 15 minutes, but we'll sort it out if something happens. Moodle. So look, if there's some additional people on the call, since I kind of mentioned at an early stage when exchanging pleasantries that there was maybe if there's any issues with anyone accessing Moodle at this stage, please just pop me an email, okay? And we'll get it resolved this week. Your login should be your personal email address, which you would have registered or you would have registered with the school and on our systems with, and Galway hash 2025 with a capital G. If there's an issue with those logins, please just let me know and I'll just reset it and test it and send you the updated logins. You can access Moodle off our website. So the link is in the email I sent you guys through. But if you access our website and there's a drop-in menu on the left-hand side, just in case you're struggling to find it, because sometimes when you even Google search Moodle, it could bring you to lots of different areas. The easiest way to find Moodle is through our website by you toggling the left-hand side bar and then just bookmark it for again, because you will be using it right throughout your course, even at the end of lectures, submitting assignments, and then later on again, when you're getting your results. So it's important to be able to access it. All of your content, lecture slides, assignments, and submission links all will be made available on Moodle, and also the Zoom link for the class will be available at the top, which I'll kind of show you. That's just an overview of the logins. This is what you'll see when you access Moodle. So the course induction tile, we call them tiles, will have the recording of this lecture or this induction and the PowerPoint slides and the Zoom link. You'll see there's a section there, class link and lecture notes. That's where your Zoom link will be at the top of that section, and then timetables, student handbooks, various different other sections that are made available to students. Student resource folder. All students have access to a student resource folder. Now, you guys actually, it's titled a small bit different. It's the whole area really is the student resource folder for this course. That's where your timetables and academic calendars are. There's a lot of academic writing and referencing guides that might be helpful. Some of it might be a little more dated than others, but there's a lot of really good material in there. School policies, school processes. The school is a policy for everything. It's all of our school policies are validated by QQI. So whether it comes to late submissions for assessments, whether it comes to mitigating circumstances around maybe there's a medical issue and you can't, you're not attending class, things like that. There's lots of different policies that our students can review in that section. Now, academic calendar, timetable, and some additional Moodle material. The academic calendar, it's an 18-week semester. That doesn't mean you have 18 weeks of classes, so don't panic. It means you have 12 weeks of classes and generally 6 weeks of kind of additional weeks. So what I mean by that is that let's just say this induction week counts as one of those weeks. You have 2 weeks off for Christmas. That will be factored in. There's kind of at the end of the semester, like revision week, bits and bobs like that. So it's an 18-week overall. That's what we're validated to deliver, but 12 weeks of live lecture classes. And those lectures will all be recorded and made available on Moodle. But like any class, they're live lectures. It's very beneficial for everyone to attend, in order to get the best out of the course that you paid for. Watching back on lectures is good in terms of if you have to miss a class. But I don't know about you. I like the interaction. It keeps me awake rather than watching Rebecca 2-hour lecture. So I think, but it'll all be available there, in case you have to miss any classes. So due to the timing of the course, I suppose, it kind of it's folded around Christmas. So the first 6 weeks are you know right up to the Christmas holidays. So you have your last class there on the 15th of December. It's 6 weeks of classes. That'll roll into your first assignment. And then you have the Christmas break, the 2 weeks, and then back on the 5th of January for your next lecture, and then another 6 weeks. So it's kind of split evenly enough. You have two assessments in the first semester. It's all one big semester, but the first half of the first semester, and two assessments in the second half of the first semester, and then finishing up in that week, the week of the 9th of February. So just touching on that as well, on the assessments. Sinead will bring you through the assessments in detail, but it's all continuous assessment, which means you don't have any exams, whether it be in person or online. Um, it's broken down into four kind of chunks. Activities, I think it's covered in a later slide, but they're basically 5% mini assessments, and they're designed really to give you to maybe break up I suppose the weighting on, not to have two big assignments. They're still big assignments, but you can get two easy 5% by doing the activities, and they cover certain subject areas that may not be covered in the larger assessments, but they also allow you to kind of get up to speed, especially if you're not as, you haven't been maybe in education in a while, or you haven't done a course in a while. It allows you to do a smaller kind of assessment that will kind of definitely aid your performance in the first and second assignment. So that's the focus. But you'll get a lot of guidance around those assessments as well. All of them are due on a Sunday evening. So all four, it's kind of our usual process that assessments are due on a Sunday evening at 1 minute to 12. So that's the deadline. If you submit at 12 o'clock, you won't lose all your marks. Generally, there's a bit of flexibility around that. But I'll talk about our kind of late submission policy very shortly as well. Just an overview there. Then of the timetable, it's simple. It's the one I sent out to you. This is going to be available on Moodle as well. 12 weeks, same time, 7 to 9. Allows you a bit of time to get home from work. And it's late, but I think it suits most. But again, if you have to miss class, as I said, all will be recorded. Assessment policy. So yeah, look, as I said, all of our policies are available on Moodle. They're all validated by QQI. 5% per week deduction every week an assignment is submitted late, whether it's an e-activity or whether it's one of the assignments. So if you're submitting an assignment a week late, you can still do that. It's not the end of the world. You can submit it 4 weeks late. You can, if you reach out and explain it, that's perfectly fine. But you would need medical evidence or documentary evidence in order to waive any potential penalty. So that's the general school policy, and any kind of extension or mitigating circumstances, as I said, has to be backed up by a form that we have readily available to complete with a formal extension request. So I think it's fairly clear. What happens after 6 weeks? So if you submit an assignment 6 weeks late, and without any kind of mitigating circumstances, the maximum score you can get on that assignment is 40%. Okay, so you could still submit an assignment even if it's submitted after 6 weeks. What I always tell students is to submit every piece of work, because even if you submit it late, you'll still get a grade for it. It'll be reduced, but don't say, "Oh, I passed the deadline, I'll give up on it, I'll move on to the next thing." Always submit the piece of work. Okay, you submit everything to Turnitin. Just a quick word on Turnitin, if you're not familiar with it. Turnitin is where you submit your assignment. You get a receipt to say you've submitted your assignment. You get your feedback on Turnitin. You get your grade on Turnitin. So when you go back to basically where you submitted the assignment, your grade will be available on Turnitin. Um, we have a clear academic integrity policy, which covers things like plagiarism, which covers AI. Just to note that Turnitin provides us, provides your lecturer and the academic department with a score, both for plagiarism, which is basically submitting someone's work or copying another student's work, or submitting or copy and pasting a large article from Google without, referencing correctly. You will get a high plagiarism score. Um, we don't get too many people that get high plagiarism scores, and really, what's a high plagiarism score? Like, you're probably talking something over 40-50%. So don't get too worried if it's 15-20%. It's not as big, but it is a learning point for anyone that does, that you can improve on your sourcing, improve on your referencing, and work with your lecturer on that. AI, we'll all be using AI. I mean, I use AI on a day-to-day basis, maybe a couple of weeks basis, but we're all using it, and it's a real tool to use in the workplace. So, our approach to it isn't that, you should be banned completely for using AI, but it's ethical use of AI. So, we will be monitoring for, I suppose, large chunks of ChatGPT that are just copied and pasted into an assignment, because it's academic integrity, it's ethical use of AI. So, you know, using ChatGPT to understand a topic and write it in your own words, or get it to understand certain topics, or to understand questions, or to help you kind of phrase things, is fine, but just be wary of copying large chunks of information, copy and paste job, into a Word document, because it will flag as a high AI score. And if we get high AI score, 75%, 80%, we will investigate it, just to make sure there's no unethical use of AI, because it will lead to possible penalties, possible grade reduction. If something comes in 100% AI and it happens, we will. It could lead to a very significantly reduced score, or potential, a stronger penalty as well. So just to be aware of that. Um, I think it's a good tool to use, but you also want to learn things as well while you're on the course, and not let an AI tool do the job for you. So I think it's important to use it ethically. Finally, just an overview of just the policies that we discussed, and a couple of additional ones. Attendance policy in the school is 85%. It's not as probably strict, I suppose, in terms of online classes like this. It's built around some of our students that are, here on a day-to-day basis in the classroom, maybe international students that have visa requirements. But we keep it as a good guide. If you're attending 85%, we see good correlation between high attendance, and you'll hear this anywhere, and your grades as well. So people that attend generally do better, rather than those that are maybe doing the assignments in the background. Because there's group assignments, there's all that kind of stuff. If you attend, you can work on the group assignments in class. You can go into breakout rooms. There's lots of really good reasons to attend, aside from spending the money and wanting to learn some things that you can bring into the workplace. Coursework and deadlines all available on the academic calendar. So just to make a note of those, and plan accordingly. Turnitin also tracks for late submissions and things like that. So you're allowed to submit late on Turnitin, but it does flag. Classroom etiquette, just to be aware of, keep your cameras on as much as possible. You're not always going to be able to, but it helps engagement. It helps the lecturer kind of engage with you guys and get the best out of the classes. Um, you know, mics using, have your mic muted at the start of class. I'm sure your lecturer wants engagement. She wants you to get involved as much as possible. But just to be aware, if you've a noisy background, if there's a dog barking, if there's, trick-or-treaters or fireworks like I had last week, just have the mic muted just in case, and, it can unmute accordingly. And those are just, respecting class times. I mean, I suppose if you're arriving in late, if at least you're muted, you can do it a bit more stealthily, but try and attend class on time as much as possible. Any additional support, you have my email address, so you can contact me directly. If you have Sinead's email address at the top of the course, the course page on Moodle. So, any kind of specific things around assignments or something that's mentioned in class, reach out to her directly. I have no problem with that, obviously. But any, if Moodle's not working, if there's an issue around mitigating circumstances or an extension or things like that, or questions about the course or anything like that, please reach out to me directly. The phone number there isn't a direct line; it's the office phone number. So again, just beware of the office hours. But if you ask for me, you'll be put through to me, and I can help answer any questions you have. Okay, that's everything. Anyone have any questions about anything discussed there, or anything that hasn't come up and that I can clarify in the last few minutes?
I just have a question. To end of this course, we have 10 points, yeah, for this course, credit points.
Excuse me. Yes, it's a 10 ECTS course. So it would be 10 credits. So like the HRM module would be part of it would run as well as part of our full-time programs, and every year of our full-time bachelor's degree is 60 credits. This is a kind of a 10 credit part of that, really. It's a micro credential. So yeah, it's a 10 credit course, and you get a certificate, a level 7 certificate, QQI certificate in human resource management.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Probably they will come later. Lots of questions.
Of course, it's hard to think of questions on the top of the head. But look, you'll be in class on Monday with Sinead. I'm sure you'll have a great time on the course. It's a commitment to do it, whether you're doing it around work or just doing it around family life, but it's definitely worth it. We've got great feedback from this course in years previous, as it's run on Springboard or outside of Springboard, and I think very positive feedback. I think it's good, especially to have someone delivering that has industry experience as well. So you guys, some of you will have experience, whether it's in HR or outside of HR, and reasons for getting into HR that you can bring into the classroom. I think that's the benefit of doing a course like this, an evening class where you're doing it online and meeting people from all over the country. You can bring your own real world examples, and I'm sure Sinead will facilitate that in a very effective way every week. So. Any last minute opportunities for questions?
No, I have issues with logging in, but I'll send you an email on it.
Yeah, Kelly, do no problem at all. Anyone else have issues logging in? Just pop me an email, and I'll see if I can do it this evening. Okay, look, guys, thanks so much for listening to me. This will be available on Moodle for anyone who's missed it. And look, yeah, best of luck next week, and I'll be speaking to you over the semester.
Perfect. Thank you,
Yeah.
Virgo.
Thanks, Virgo.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, guys,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.